Welcome to Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft, the founder and CEO of Judy Heft and Associates, Financial and Lifestyle Concierge. This year, she's celebrating 27 years in business. In every episode, Judy interviews professionals who help others successfully manage their financial lives. You can find this show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. Judy is the author of 2 books, How to Be Smart, Successful, and Organized with Your Money for a Better Today and Tomorrow, and her latest book, Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles, How to Successfully Manage Money in Every Decade of Life. You can read chapters of her books and catch prior episodes of the show at www.judithheft.com. Now, here's the host of Mastering Your Financial Life, Judy Heft.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to our 53rd episode of Mastering Your Financial Life. And today I'm really excited to announce that we're here with Stacy Francis. Stacy is the president and CEO of Francis Financial. Francis Financial is a fee-only boutique wealth management firm, and they mostly specialize on working with recently divorced and widowed women and some men too, but I think their focus is mostly on helping women become more empowered. And that's such a wonderful thing that they help people with. Stacey is a CFP, a certified financial planner. She's a CDFA, certified divorce financial analyst, and she's also a grief recovery specialist. And I know that really helps her a lot with dealing with these clients, because widowhood is not the only time that you're experiencing grief. Divorce can be very, a grief, situation too. It's filled with grief because it's like a death, I think. And then also, she has 20 years of experience in the financial industry, and she's been quoted in such articles in Forbes, Wall Street Journal, Cranes. She's really well known. She has her own podcast, which is Financially Ever After. And she's also, this is the exciting thing, the founder of Savvy Ladies, which is a nonprofit that educates women on financial organization and how to keep everything straight and what to do. And there's a helpline, and it's just a wonderful organization. So I'm pleased today. Help me welcome my guest, Stacy Francis. Thank you, Stacy.
Judy, I am so excited to be here, and I love your podcast. I love it. I love what you are doing.
Thank you so much. We're trying to educate, which is what you do too. So I think, we're definitely in the same wheelhouse here. So, losing a loved one can be very devastating. It's just really, I don't know, sometimes, especially if you're prepared for it with an illness of that loved one, or if it happens suddenly, it doesn't really matter. It's devastating. And I think so many people, especially the non-moneyed spouse, which is usually the woman, can feel extremely overwhelmed. It's such an emotional time, and so many people don't know what to do, where to start, where to begin.
Yeah.
And so what are 3 important things that you want to just tell us, or 3 or 4 or 5 really key points that you think that people need to know?
Well, first off, the one thing I just want to always share the statistic, and I hope people are sitting down when they hear this. The U.S. Census Bureau just released that the average age of widowhood is age 59. It's a number that's a lot younger than so many of us ever imagine. And for women in particular, that haven't necessarily been in the driver's seat of the finances, the loss of their spouse can create secondary losses. Not only the loss of this person, their love of their life, but financial implications. And for most women, we see an absolute drop in income, in net worth, and they find themselves in a really difficult position. And so the first, most important thing to do is Judy, to put your team together. And that team that we believe you should have might be a little bit more comprehensive than what some people think. Of course, an estate planning attorney, that's a no-brainer. A financial advisor that understands how to work with widows and the complex financial issues that you face. But I'm also going to say another person that you may not think about, a therapist or a grief coach. Um, just absolutely imperative because, losing the love of your life, losing a spouse, whether it was sudden or it was expected, it is one of the most traumatic situations anyone is ever going to face. And quite frankly, Judy, we're not at our best when that happens because widow's frog actually is something that occurs, and it causes us to struggle to be able to think clearly, to be able to make decisions. I even remember when I lost my mother and she passed away, the number of times I lost my keys, I thought I was losing my mind. So Judy, that's definitely one of the first things that you should be looking at.
That's really great information. That's so important because I think, like you said, when this happens, you can be floundering and don't know where to begin, where to start, what to do. And so that's really good advice, is to just get your team together. And yes, I love that you're saying get a grief counselor because it's such an emotional time. Like, I never heard that expression, widow's fog, but it makes so much sense to me. It's such a perfect description. So
Yeah, it is. And for all of you who feel like you might be losing your mind after a traumatic event, and I'll be honest, this can be for even if you're going through a divorce or you've lost a job, um, this is real. There is a cognitive impact when you're dealing with profound loss, when you're coping with grief, and our brains are impacted. They really are.
it's so true. It's such an emotional thing. I know for me, and when I was going through my divorce after a 30-year marriage, it was also the time where I had to end up closing the family business, which my mom had started like 25 years before that. And then I had to tell my mother about the business. And there was just so much going on in my life. And I had to move out of my house. And I couldn't think straight. And I think I was
Yeah.
making a lot of, maybe, I don't want to call them careless mistakes, but just like I was in a fog. And I think
Yeah.
that was, part of it. It's really emotional. So it's really good. And sometimes you don't even know. I know so many people come to us and they don't know what documents do they need. Do I have a power of attorney? But people don't understand sometimes that once the person passes away, the power of attorney is no longer valid. So what do you tell people to get? What are some of
Yeah.
the specific documents that need to be collected?
Well, this is also a wonderful place that you can lean on your team to help you with that, both your estate planning attorney as well as your financial advisor, especially your financial advisor has access to a lot of the financial documents that you need. Um, the first piece is getting copies of the death certificate. And for a lot of financial institutions, um, a copy of it, a Xerox copy, is fine. But there are some that require actual original original death certificates. And typically, Judy, we say to get about 10 to 15 in total. You can always order more. The next thing you'll want to do is to reach out to your spouse's employer. They are going to be another part of your team, sharing all the information you need to know about your spouse's retirement plan, if they have a deferred compensation plan, any paychecks that are due to them, and any other benefits. Most people have life insurance at their employer. And so, what is that life insurance? And making sure that you have all the information, and that HR team is going to help you take you through that.
Oh, that's
Um,
great. Go ahead.
yeah, no, it
No,
and it's
that's
very helpful.
helpful.
The other piece, and it can be a little bit overwhelming, but I wrote a book called Financial Help for Widows. And I created this beautiful guide which talks about things to get now, documents to get later. And I know that not everyone can see this, and some of you might be driving, so I don't want you to even look, but things you want to collect. Your spouse's social security card, their birth certificate, um, any their driver's license, marriage certificate if they were in the military, their discharge papers, as well as the will making sure that you have a copy of the most recent will, and then copies of any trusts as well as life insurance policy details. So those are the things of during that first week you should be getting. The things that you can get a little later down the line, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and beyond, are all of the financial pieces. And it's your checking accounts, savings accounts, also brokerage accounts, taxable accounts, retirement accounts such as IRAs, 401ks, any information on a pension plan, employee stock purchase plans, restricted stock units, stock options, um, as well as other types of assets, any cars, home, any real estate as well. Um, if they're, your most recent tax return. So essentially, an inventory of all your different assets. And in the book, Financial Help for Widows, we actually created a net worth worksheet. You can get this easily online. You can go to our website, www.francisfinancial.com, and download it. And it includes all the assets, maybe even some that you didn't think about, like cryptocurrency. There's a good number of people that, have cryptocurrency, artwork, jewelry, and starting to not only fill this out, but also get copies and ideally statements as of the month that your spouse passed away in. This might take you a few weeks, might take you a couple months. That's fine. But those are the first three things that you need to do. So, again, putting your team in place, getting those documents such as Social Security, birth certificates, and then also starting to collect those financial documents.
So, Stacy, what do you think about the clients that don't have access to those things? They're the non-moneyed spouse. They gave all of that power away to their partner, and they don't have any user IDs and passwords. I went through that a few years ago with a client who was a sudden widow, and she didn't know where to begin. She didn't know where any of the insurance policies were. She had no idea what to do. It took us a long time. We helped her figure all of that out, try to find these policies, but it took a really long time to get down to the nitty gritty of that and find where those policies are. And, how do you handle that with someone, that just like they're really in the dark? They just were never told anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be honest, Judy, most of our clients that is her. Um, So there's some things you can do. Look around for passwords, check email. You can also see if there is a password system such as LastPass or some others. There are also fantastic IT companies that can actually go through the hard drive of the computer to be able to gain access to some of those pieces. That can be important, particularly if there's cryptocurrency and um, it's not on a actual platform. It's actually on the computer. In addition, what you can do is reach out to those financial institutions, that financial advisor, to help you start to collect those documents and put them all together.
That's good. That's why you need a good team in place. I think that's so important because it can be so overwhelming and you don't know where to begin. If you get a professional in there to help you, they have better guidance, I think. And actually, they need to get your book and look at that checklist because that is so helpful. I'm really happy to hear about that. That's a handy thing to have. So, there's so much to do. And, who do you inform after your spouse passes away? After your loved ones, of course, but who else do you tell?
So you will want to, reach out to your estate planning attorney, your financial advisor. You're going to be reaching out to the Social Security office as well. Um, and then you're going to also want to reach out to a funeral home. That funeral home can actually be very helpful. Often they're the ones that will notify Social Security for you. They can also help you purchase or and have those death certificates. Um, in addition to the employer. Other things to think about. I mean, of course, family members. But what I would say, there's so many people that you hear this, Judy, let me know if there's anything I can do. Well, take these people up on their offer. Give them a list of people to reach out to, so that you don't have to be the one going through that traumatic story of loss, you know, dozens and dozens and dozens of times. So that's really important. The other thing you'll want to do is eventually you're going to want to reach out to, credit cards to cancel them, the alma maters, gym memberships, associations. You're going to want to list all those things. This doesn't need to be done today, right? This can be done in the coming weeks. And if it's a gym membership, even the coming months. But this is a perfect example of leaning on your community, those people that say, if there's anything I can do, well, give them a list of 5 places, whether it's magazine subscriptions, it's, the local Elks Club, it's the blah, 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 to make those calls to inform them of that death so that you're no longer being charged for those dues. Definitely lean on those people because what I've seen widows who have Judy done this on their own, number 1, it takes a huge amount of time, but number 2, it's just a soul-sucking exercise because, again, you're saying, "My spouse has passed away," and it's just you're reliving that trauma over and over and over again.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's helpful to have a professional do that because I mean, if you can have your friends help you, that's great. When they say, "What can I do?" I love that. Ask them to do that instead of bringing food or the other kind of thing that you might think is a normal thing to ask your friends for. But we work with a lot of people. We help them do a lot of that. Go through all those subscriptions and find the get the death certificates for them and the copies and get the different places, the credit card companies
Yeah,
notified.
and I just want everyone listening to make sure that you just notice that. So, you can hire fantastic people like Judy and her team to do the heavy lifting for you. That is really important. That is part of that team. That is part of that team. And, what I have to say is that the more support you can have during this time, the 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 easier it's going to be to start to be able to take those baby steps forward and starting that recovery process because I will tell you everyone grieves differently, but the more ways that you can take extra care of yourself by having people do some of this heavy lifting, the more whole and healthy you're going to be able to come through this process.
That's a great suggestion, Stacey. It's really important to have the right people around you. And like you said,
Right?
right from the get-go, the most important thing you said in the beginning was have a great team in place. And that's so true. So let's take a little break here and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more with Stacy Francis, CEO of Francis Financial. Hey there. I just want to tell you a little bit about my new book that just came out called Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles. And here it is. It's how to successfully manage your money in every decade of life. I co-authored this with my CFO, Liz Levy. And together we created this manual that's going to help you through every stage of life. We talk about having a baby. We talk about young adulthood, pre-retirement, what to do when you're at that age of retirement, if you're contemplating divorce, do you need an estate plan? We cover all of these, each subject in a different chapter. And I really think that you're going to find this so helpful because at the end of every chapter, we have checklists that you can look at and you can use, and they can be a guide for you. So this is a wonderful manual that we've created. It's available on Amazon. You can also find it on our website at judithheft.com/book. And we're here for you. If you need anything, reach out. I hope you enjoy the book. Here's another picture of it, just so you know what's going on. Here it is. And I'm really proud of it. It's my second book. And I'd love to have you read it and give me your feedback. Judy Heft, judithheft.com, financial and lifestyle concierge, celebrating 26 years in business. And over the years, I've learned so much. And what I've been trying to do is impart a little bit of this knowledge to you so I can help all of you become as financially organized as I am. And we're back here. We're back here with Stacy Francis, President and CEO of Francis Financial and the founder of Savvy Ladies. So, Stacy, this was such a great conversation with you. So, I think we talked a little bit about what to do when your spouse is working. How do you handle that? But is there anything that you want to add to that we left out?
For many people, their spouse wasn't working. And it's really important that you understand all the benefits that are available to you. Quite a few individuals have served in the military. So one of the least understood benefits are those that are given to veterans' families. And unfortunately, we see thousands, tens of thousands of dollars that are left on the table because people didn't understand what benefits they were really entitled to. So, what I encourage you to do is to go to va.gov. You will need your spousal discharge information. There's a special number on that, and there are numerous benefits that you can be qualified for. Everything from burial plots and ongoing care of that plot to also even receiving a widow's benefit. So that's really important. For all individuals, is making sure that you understand what Social Security benefits you're entitled to. This is, again, another area that seems pretty simple. Your spouse passes away, and so now you're eligible for a survivor benefit. But can I tell you, it's complicated and it's very much misunderstood. So reaching out to ssa.gov to understand your benefits. And if you're age 60 or above, you can get the survivor's benefit. You can also get it even younger if you have children under the age of 16. And you would receive a benefit until those kids are age 16. And your children will also receive a Social Security benefit up until they're age 18, as far as age 22 if they're disabled. And the benefit can be for each of these people, children, and also for you, up to 75% of your spouse's Social Security benefit at their full retirement age. So it can be a large amount of money. And so very important that you understand what you're eligible for, your children are eligible for, to try and make it through this difficult time as financially whole and secure as possible.
Oh, that's really great information. I didn't know about the children's survivor benefits, so that's really helpful to know. And I think there's probably a lot of other people out there that didn't know about that either. So thanks for informing people because it's something you need to know about. That's great.
It is,
Yeah.
yes.
So Stacy, this was so much fun. It was so interesting to talk to you. Now, how can our listeners find you?
Well, lots of ways. You can go to our website, www.francisfinancial.com. We have so many fantastic resources for you. And actually, right on the website, you can download this book, Financial Help for Widows, a complete resource guide. They're free of charge. So that's for you. And you can also email me, Stacy, Stacy, at francisfinancial.com. And I do want to do a little plug for Savvy Ladies, which is the most wonderful resource for any woman who wants to get savvy about their money. SavvyLadies.org is a nonprofit organization, and we have hundreds of different workshops and seminars, many of them live online, of every financial topic you can imagine under the sun. And our superpower is also matching women with financial advisors to work free of charge through our helpline. So I encourage you, please check that out. It's a free resource. It's a nonprofit I started 21 years ago, and it is my big love letter to women in the world, helping us all be able to take care of ourselves financially. Because if we can take care of ourselves financially, we can take care of our kids, we can take care of our communities, and live the beautiful life that we all deserve.
That's so great, Stacey. Thank you so much for that. I think it's really important to be role models for our children. I remember there was one time when my first grandchild was, I don't know, around 2 years old. And I said to my daughter one day, I wish I didn't have to work. I wish I could help you more. And she said, Mom, I want you, you're the role model I want for my kids. You're out there doing it
Hmm.
all. And that just made my day, because I think sometimes we don't realize the impact we have on our children. And it's more, do what we're doing, not what we say sometimes, because we don't always say the right things. But it's always good to be that great role model, which I know you are. You have a daughter too and a son, but
Yeah.
with our daughters today. So thank you for being a great guest, Stacey. I know that people can find you on LinkedIn too. We didn't mention that.
Yep.
And you're everywhere. You're being quoted in every periodical I can think of, which is wonderful. You have so much great information to educate people on, and it's just
Yeah.
wonderful to be here with you. So thank you for being a guest today, Stacey.
Thank you. And I have to say, congrats to everyone listening to Mastering Your Financial Life. This investment is the best investment you can make in yourself. So kudos for you for tuning in.
Thanks, Stacey.
Thank you for tuning into Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft. You can read chapters of her books and catch prior episodes of the show at www.judithheft.com. Thank you for your positive comments and sharing this show with others.